question that we get asked a lot is why do I need an accountant when I've got cloud accounting software?
You can do your bookkeeping, your day-to-day sort of accounting and whatever on cloud accounting software. But where are you getting the advice from? Where are you getting... So, I mean, there are a lot of changing rules, tax rules especially, they're changing all the time, aren't they?
Absolutely.
So where's your advice coming from? I mean, the accounting software probably won't be able to give you that advice.
No, precisely, really. I suppose an accountant's changed its role in business now, isn't it, really? Because whereas before a lot of it was sort of predominantly processing and I suppose not having a huge amount of time to advise the clients, whereas now with the birth of these cloud accounting softwares, it's a blessing in disguise for an accountant as well, because we've now got more time to advise the client, to be more on the pulse, I suppose, in that sense, with regards to the information that's there, to give that peace of mind to clients that in fact something is being posted in the right way, whilst they can be left to do what they do best, which is their business.
So take company accounts, for example. So a lot of people probably don't realise that company accounts have to be done to done in a certain format, and they're done to certain standards. For example, small companies, they can be done. They have to be prepared using FRS 105 or FRS 102 Section A, and there's various disclosures that have to go into the accounts, which people might not be aware of, and it's critical that those disclosures are correct to give what we call a true and fair view, and that basically means that it gives whoever reads the accounts, it gives them the confidence that those accounts are reliable
and
complete, so that they can make a good investment decision if they choose to invest in that company, or if they, for example, if a bank wants to lend money to that company, they'll look at the company's accounts on Companies House, and they want to make sure that it's all trustworthy and reliable.
Yeah. And that's the same vein with self-assessment as well, and self-employed individuals as well, because as we've touched on, there's an element of expense that maybe should be claimed and probably isn't. And on that same vein, there's probably an element of expense that is being claimed and probably shouldn't. So it's knowing the differentiation between the two, isn't it, really, and making sure that as we've touched on, true and fair view is the big thing, isn't it? It's making sure that everything that is there is correct.
And then there's the additional cost as well of having the accounting software. So yeah, you might use the accounting software to keep your books, do your VAT returns, maybe do your payroll, but then you'll have to pay a bit extra to submit year-end accounts, year-end statutory accounts, submit your tax returns. So there's that additional cost as well, whereas we've got all that software anyway as accountants. And then there's the time element as well. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not an accountant as a business owner. You want to do what you know best.
And you should be left to do what you know best as well at the same time.
Let us as accountants do all the accounting and all the tax
and give you
stuff.
That peace of mind in the fact that you haven't got to worry about it because Erdingsworth are looking after it for you.
Absolutely, yeah. And then, I mean, both of us can relate to this now. How long, if there's an issue, say with the tax, say HMRC have misplaced a payment to a wrong account or misallocated the payment. How many times have you and I sat on the phone to HMRC trying to get this payment reallocated?
You lose count how many times you do it, don't you? And the point being is we don't mind doing that because that's what we're there for.
Yes, that's
9 times out of 10,
yeah.
It gets sorted straight away if we deal with it because we know the right questions to be asking. Absolutely. And we can be that bit more pragmatic.
Yeah.
And if something, you take for example, if something goes in incorrectly, whether it be to Companies House, HMRC, etc., we would probably have the knowledge to
amend it.
Yeah.
And then there's, I suppose, the question of investigations as well, because everybody, well, not everybody, but there's quite a lot of investigations that happen, and that's where we can sort of help as well, so we can liaise with HMRC. And
the fact that for HMRC investigations, HMRC are usually expecting to be sat down with the accountant, aren't they, when it comes to investigation, and they normally expect to be communicating with the accountant, mainly because that's quite an old way of dealing with things, but it's still quite current in that sense. Of course, they'll liaise with the client, but they're expecting to liaise with that professional in that sense, aren't they?
So, I mean, accounting software is a fantastic tool, especially the online softwares that are out there like QuickBooks and Xero. But you still need the added advice that could give you that peace of mind, which accountants such as Erdingsworth can provide.